The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had depression and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships.
The recent courtroom testimony of a former maid from Diddy's household has shaken the entertainment world to its core. For years, she had remained silent, cleaning up after the extravagant parties and high-profile events hosted by the music mogul. She signed strict NDAs and kept her distance from the chaos that swirled around Diddy's life. However, in a stunning turn of events, this seemingly insignificant witness has revealed disturbing details that could change everything. What she found in the trash that morning, along with the evidence she uncovered, has haunted her for years. But now, the truth is coming to light, and it might be more terrifying than anyone could have imagined.
Today we heard from another former employee of Sean Diddy Combs. A woman testifying under the pseudonym Mia took the stand. She says her salary was around $65,000 as a personal assistant to Combs. Mia says her first 24 hours on the job, she didn't sleep. When asked about the longest stretch of time she went on the job without sleeping, she testified 5 days. Mia said the job was to protect Combs at all times and anticipate his needs and moods. Mia testified she couldn't leave Combs' homes without permission. She said she didn't get time off, was berated, humiliated, her job constantly threatened by Combs. Mia also told the jury she witnessed Combs' then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura telling the jury she saw Combs, quote,
This unexpected witness, known only in court as Housekeeper X, had worked for Diddy between 2014 and 2020. Her job was simple: keep the mansion clean, maintain privacy, and remain discreet. She wasn't a celebrity, nor did she have any personal ties to the famous faces who frequented the mansion. Her role was to stay out of the spotlight. But one morning, everything changed. The house was eerily quiet when Housekeeper X arrived. At the Beverly Hills estate at 6:15 a.m. Normally, there would still be music from the previous night's party or the sounds of a chef preparing breakfast. But that morning, everything was silent. She started her usual routine by removing trash, but as she sifted through the bins, something unusual caught her eye. She noticed a strange smell coming from one of the burn cans, a mixture of plastic, smoke, and something more ominous. As she began sorting through the remains, she discovered half-melted photo frames and a vanilla folder. But the most shocking discovery was a fragment of a passport photo showing a girl. Housekeeper X was terrified. She wasn't supposed to look, but something felt deeply wrong. The image was unsettling, and she knew it was something she was never meant to find. The photo was of a girl who seemed to be missing. When she reported it to the court, the audience gasped. The photo, though damaged, was still recognizable.
Mia told the jury that Combs was screaming at Ventura because she hadn't answered his phone call. Mia says she jumped on Combs' back and he threw her into a wall and she, quote, realized we're in real. She told the jury, much like Ventura and Nash did, that Combs picked up Ventura and slammed her head into the corner of the bed frame, her head gushing blood. Mia thought he was going to kill her. Mia also described a party at Prince's house that she went to with Ventura without Combs' permission. Ventura also testified about this. Mia said they were having fun, then Combs showed up. Quote, I saw his bucket hat come through the entrance. She says she locked eyes with him and thought, quote, oh crap. She told the jury they booked it, running through the house to the yard to hide in the bushes. Combs, however, she says, caught up to Ventura and she says Prince's security intervened. Direct examination of Mia will continue for the rest of the day.
Young girl's face, her smile, her freckles, her distinct features stayed with Housekeeper X. The prosecution pressed forward with this explosive evidence. The image was later matched to a missing persons flyer from 2016. The girl in the photo was named Malia, a teenager who had last been seen attending a private yacht party off the coast of Miami. As the connections became clear, the courtroom fell into a heavy silence. Diddy's expression darkened, and for the first time, he seemed shaken. But the disturbing discoveries didn't end there. Housekeeper X recalled the strange after-parties that followed the extravagant events at Diddy's home. These after-parties were different, private, closed off from the world, and filled with an eerie atmosphere. Guests were told to leave their phones behind, and the security around these events was unusually tight. The mood shifted, and the guests, some of them very young, seemed nervous. She was told not to clean certain areas of the house, specifically the East Wing bedrooms and the downstairs den, but her curiosity led her to break those rules more than once. On one occasion, while cleaning a guest bathroom, Housekeeper X found a hidden camera behind the toilet. When she called security, they removed it without a word. Another time, she found strange marks on the hardwood floor, deep, as if something heavy had been dragged across it. But the most disturbing discovery was what she called the table. Located in one of the rooms, it was always covered in melted candle wax, broken glass, and even what appeared to be blood. It was something that went untouched for days after the parties. Housekeeper X had to walk past it every day, and every time it left her feeling uneasy. Despite the chilling nature of these discoveries, Housekeeper X remained silent for years. She feared for her safety. She had signed numerous non-disclosure agreements and knew what could happen if she spoke out. She was afraid of disappearing, just like others who had crossed the line. But the guilt began to weigh on her. The image of the missing girl, Malia, haunted her. Eventually, she couldn't keep quiet any longer. After stumbling upon the flyer at a grocery store, she realized the girl in the photo was the same one she had found in Diddy's trash. The discovery was too much to ignore. She sent the photo to a tip line anonymously, but no one responded. Soon after, her phone began acting strangely, and she noticed someone parked across the street from her house for hours. Feeling watched and unsafe, she moved to a new apartment, changed her phone number, and eventually left her job. Years later, Housekeeper X came forward, not to seek attention, but to expose the truth. And the evidence she presented in court was damning.
Diddy's former assistant, Mia, told prosecutors that she intended to take this part of working with Diddy to her grave. But before she shared that story, Mia described working with Diddy as experiencing the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And some of those lows, as she described, was when he would humiliate her and treat her like she was worthless. She mentioned one particular experience when she was working from 8 a.m. in the morning to 3 a.m. at night, and Diddy had invited all of these people over to his house, she said. So he tells her, get for everyone, but she says she hadn't used the bathroom and it was that time of month. So she says she heads towards her room, and remember, at this time she's living with Diddy, and he gets upset. He says, I didn't tell you to go to your room, I said go to. As she's going back and forth with him, he starts to get even more upset. Meanwhile,
she described how Diddy would sit alone in his den after the parties, burning various documents, tapes, and journals. He had a routine, one that seemed calculated and deliberate. One day, Housekeeper X entered the den earlier than usual and saw Diddy throw a thick journal into the fire. When he saw her, he didn't yell. He just stared at her and said, "You didn't see that?" He then handed her an envelope of cash. Cash meant to silence her. The final blow came when she described the west wing of the house. This room, always locked and guarded, was off limits to staff. But one day, while delivering dry cleaning to a guest suite, Housekeeper X found the door slightly ajar. Inside, she saw rows of mini DV tapes and memory cards labeled with names, dates, and numbers. It was clear this room contained sensitive and potentially incriminating material. Before she could investigate further, a man appeared behind her, forcing her to leave the room. She knew then that she had seen something she was never meant to. After that, her role in the mansion changed. She was no longer allowed to clean after the parties. Only before they began, the maid's testimony had turned the courtroom upside down. It wasn't just the evidence she presented, but the connections she made between Diddy's parties, the missing girl, and the strange occurrences inside the mansion. The prosecution then presented audio clips and written statements from former staff members, all of whom corroborated her claims.
Down her leg, so she flat out tells him, I have to go change my tampon. And that's when he grabs a bowl of spaghetti and throws it right at her. She says he starts chasing her outside. Get the F out of my house. And the next day she gets a call from HR telling her that she's been suspended without pay. Diddy's orders. But it doesn't end there. She testified that she was on the set of his music video in 2012 when the Wi-Fi stopped working. So Diddy told her, go and figure it out. She says she went to the production people and they told her that they are working on it. So she says she went back to Diddy with that answer and he was furious. She says he was yelling, I don't care if you have to call Bill Gates. And then he grabbed his laptop and threw it right. She testified that he threw it hard and it got really close to her face. And that's when she realized he did intend to. But she also talked about the highlights of working with Diddy. For example, he gave her a start in her dream career field by making her the director of development at Revolt Film, his production company. She says when things were good, he would say that their visions aligned and that she would be great in the role. But when things were bad, he would weaponize it and threaten to take it all away, and also ruin her reputation.
One former security guard recalled how guests who became too loud or emotionally unstable were taken to a secret room called Room 17, a space that didn't appear on the floor plan. Inside, the room was said to have padded walls, a bed, a camera, and personal folders containing NDAs and leverage material. The world was watching as the truth began to unravel. For years, Diddy had kept his secrets buried. But now, the Maid's testimony had exposed a side of him he had desperately tried to hide. As the prosecution continued to present evidence, the courtroom was filled with tension. The music mogul, once untouchable, was now facing the possibility of his darkest secrets being revealed to the world. In the end, it was Housekeeper X's bravery that changed everything. She had been silenced for years, but now her voice had become a powerful force in the fight for justice. What she found in the trash that morning, the passport photo, the burned documents, and the disturbing patterns, had opened the door to a dark reality that no one could ignore. As the court proceedings continued, it became clear this testimony would forever change the narrative surrounding Diddy, his empire, and the disturbing truths that lay hidden beneath the surface.